Hello and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'll be showing you how to install Linux Mint on VirtualBox. Watch the video until the end so that you know all the process that includes during the installation of Linux Mint on VirtualBox. So at first, let me talk about the Linux Mint. Linux Mint is a community-driven Linux distribution based on Ubuntu, bundled with a variety of free and open source applications. So basically Linux Mint is totally based on Debian, or you can say the Ubuntu. And for the beginners who are trying to get inside a Linux world, they can use the Linux Mint. The initial release of Linux Mint was made back in 2006, and now the current version of Linux Mint is 21, which is called the Venessa. So to install the Linux Mint on the VirtualBox, first of all we need a couple of things. The first one is the ISO file of the Linux Mint, and the second thing is to install the VirtualBox on your system. So to download the ISO file of the Linux Mint, you need to go through this link. I'll give this link in the description box. Click on the download section, and inside the download page you'll find this couple of edition of the Linux Mint, a couple of desktop environment that you can choose to have in your system. So basically there are three: Cinnamon edition, which is the most popular version among these three versions. Another one is Mate edition, and another one is XFC edition. So XFC is basically lightweight. You can go for a lightweight, or you can just follow the trend and download the Cinnamon edition. So I recommend you to download the Cinnamon edition since it is popular and it's quite beautiful than other editions. So to download it, just click on download, and here in this information section you'll find this installation guide and a lot of things here. So to download it, click on the torrent download. So after downloading the ISO file of the Linux Mint, you need to download the exe file of the VirtualBox. So if you haven't installed the VirtualBox in your system, then you need to search for VirtualBox and go to the download section. So I'll be giving this link on the description box. You can just copy it from there and download the VirtualBox. So here you can see the VirtualBox version and platform package is written here. So to download the VirtualBox per Windows, just click on the Windows host and the download will be started. So after downloading the ISO file of the Linux Mint and the VirtualBox, you need to go to the download folder and you need to run the exe file of the VirtualBox as the administrator so that you can install it on your system. So installing the VirtualBox is quite easy. You just need to click on next for a couple of times and you need to click on install. So that's it. The installation of VirtualBox is done here. So wait for the installation to be completed. So after that, choose to start the Oracle VM VirtualBox and finish. So that's it. So basically this is the interface of the VirtualBox, and to set up the Linux Mint system on your VirtualBox, you need to click on new, and after that you need to type the operating system name, which is Linux Mint. So type Linux Mint, and VirtualBox is quite progressive enough to choose its version as Ubuntu, since Linux Mint is based on Ubuntu and the type system and architecture is Linux. So after this, just click on next. Now you need to allocate the RAM size for your Linux Mint system, and you need to allocate the processor for your Linux Mint system. So first of all, you need to allocate the RAM at least 4 gigs to be on safer side. So you can allocate more than 4 gigs according to your requirement and according to your capability of your PC. So for now, I'm going to allocate the 4 gigs of RAM. 2 gigs of RAM will also do the things for you. So after this, I'm going to allocate the processor. So you can allocate the processor up to the green mark. So the number of CPUs can be different according to the system. So after this, just click on next. So now you need to create a virtual hard drive for your Linux Mint system. So I'm going to allocate 30 gigs. So make sure that you allocate at least 30 gigs of virtual hard drive for your system. So you can allocate as much as you want according to your requirement. So after this, just click on next. So the basic setup is done. Now just click on finish. So that's it. So before restarting your system, now you need to again go to the settings and you need to make few changes on the settings. So get inside the advanced section and set these both of these to bidirectional. So it will enable you to copy and paste, drag and drop the files and folders and text between your host system, which is Windows 11 and Linux Mint. So after this, get inside the system and you will see these previous settings which we made, so no need to make any changes here. unless you want. So after this, click on the display section, and now you need to allocate the video memory for your Linux Mint system. You need to allocate the half of this green section to be on safer side. So the size of the video memory, total video memory, can be different according to your system capability. So make sure to set it to somewhere between the half. And now you need to click on storage. So this is the important part. Now you need to set up the ISO file of the Linux Mint here. So click on the empty section and you need to attach the ISO file right here. So choose a DIX file and you need to go to the folder where you have downloaded and just double click on that. So we are done here. The ISO file is attached. Now we are ready to go with the Linux Mint system. So let's go. So choose the first option to install Linux Mint 21 Cinnamon. Now choose to install the Linux Mint. So choose the language you want during the installation. Click on continue. And now you need to select your keyboard layout. So you can check your keyboard layout down here, or you can just continue. Now choose to install the multimedia codecs, which will install the multimedia which are required to play some video formats, some audio formats. So click on continue. Since we are installing the Linux Mint system on our VirtualBox system, so you need to select the first option to erase DIX and install the Linux Mint, and you need to just click on continue. So now it is going to erase that DIX which we created during the setup of the Linux Mint on your VirtualBox system. So you just need to click on continue after this. Now you need to select your location for the time zone and just click on continue. Set up the user password for your Linux Mint system. So here we go, the installation of Linux Mint is started, so it may take a while. So you can grab a coffee and wait until a few minutes. So now the installation is completely done. You just need to either restart or continue testing. So I'm just going to choose the continue testing and I'm going to shut down the system. Or you can just close it from here. And now get inside the settings of your Linux Mint system and click on the storage section, and you need to make sure that this section is empty, or if it is not empty then you can just detach this ISO file from here. So make sure that it is empty and click on OK. So after this you can just click on start to system. So here you go, the things are done. You can see this welcome screen right here. So you can just close this welcome screen and you can see this here, the full screen mode isn't working. So whenever I try to minimize it or increase its resolution, whenever I try to resize it, you can see this here that the Linux Mint screen is fixed for certain area and the full screen mode is also not working. So to fix this, you need to click on devices and insert the guest addition CD image, and you need to choose the run. Type your user password. So here we go. The guest edition image is installing, so it may take a while. So after the installation is done, just click on enter to exit this terminal. And I'm pretty much sure that now full screen mode should work. So when I try to resize it, it is working perfectly fine. And let me view it on the full screen. So here we go, it is working perfectly fine. Now you can just eject this VirtualBox edition image. So in this way you can install the Linux Mint system on your VirtualBox. So and you can view it on the full screen too. So hey guys, I hope you guys find my video informative. Thanks for watching. I'll make this video if you like, share and subscribe my channel. See you guys in the next video. Until then, signing out.